Hi guys, this is me again, Annabel Casinto, and for today's video, we're going to tackle about the formality levels of communication. According to Martin Huth, speech style means the form of language that the speaker uses which characterized by the degree of formality. He identified the style which he called clocks in five classes such as frozen style, formal style, consultative style, casual style, and the intimate style. These five clocks are levels of formality in a language use, which are determined by the situational context and degree of familiarity or intimacy between the interlocutors. Each level determines what kind of language is appropriate to use in a specific context. The number one is the frozen speech style. This is the most formal communicative style that is usually used during respectful events and ceremonies. It is used when shows hesitations, disinterest, or prejudice. Frozen speech style is used generally in very formal setting and does not require any feedback from the audience. It is most formal communicative style for respectful situations. The frozen style of speech is generally used in print media, rules, or declamation. This is the speech which is carefully planned and verbalized and is mainly relies on the use of words. This style discourages feedbacks or questions for clarifications from the listeners, which is why is it important that words are precise and carefully chosen. Examples are pledges, anthems, marriage, ceremonies, laws, and many more. Next is the intimate speech style. This speech style is very close relationships like couples, family, and best friends. It is also used for self-addressed questions or self-talk. Intimate speech styles is used in conversation between people who are very close and know each other quite well because they have the maximum of shared backgrounds information. Okay, so this speech style makes use of words at a minimum. The communicators understand each other even with just a simple non-verbal gestures or behaviors, such as rising tone of voice, a grunt, or a raised eyebrow. A child who often forgets to close the door may be told by his or her siblings to do so just by saying door. Examples from this is the couple talking about their future plans, family sharing ideas, very close friends, sharing secrets, and many more. Speeches are straightforward speeches. In this, in this speech style, the speaker avoids using slang term etymologies. What are the speaker says is something that has been prepared beforehand. Each complex sentence and noun phrases are well structured, logically sequenced, and strongly coherent. Communication using the form of speech type is one way in which the speaker simply transmits the information to the listener. The formal type of speech is often does not encourage listeners' participation or interaction among the communicators. Public speaking commonly makes use of formal, informative speech. In situations where there is uncertainty in terms of receiving a favorable response, the speaker also uses this type of speech. For instance, if you are borrowing money from someone you are not close with, instead of saying, "Can I borrow some money?" you say, "Money is tight these days. Could you perhaps lend me some money?" Instead of saying, "I don't understand the lesson," one may say, "It is difficult to understand the lesson." Since the speaker is somehow detached from the message, it attempts to avoid awkward or embarrassing situations. Next is the casual speech. This is an informal communication between groups and peers. Casual style is used in conversation between friends and insiders who have something to share and have shared background information, but don't have close relations. Casual speech is characterized by slang meanings or expressions that are easily understood by the communicators without being given too much information. For instance, among friends, one says, "Hey, I saw your best friends a while ago," in a teasing manner, and the listener replies sarcastically. It is most likely that the speaker is referring to the other person's enemy. So examples are the examples are phone calls, everyday conversation with friends, chats, inside jokes of friends, and many more. Last but not the least is the consultative speech style. This is used in semi-formal communications, sentences and to be shorter and spontaneous. The speaker does not usually plan what he or she wants to say. Most operational among others. Unlike the formal and frozen styles of speech, the levels of communication making use of the consultative style involves cooperation but does not necessarily require involvement. This means that the listeners are involved in meaning making by being allowed to give feedback. For instance, if the information presented by the speaker is insufficient or unclear, the listener may ask for elaborations or clarification. On the other hand, if there is too much information, the listener may say, "I know," or "I understand," to imply that the speaker need not to elaborate. The consultative style is the standard or most commonly used style in everyday conversation. According to Hus, communication using the consultative style is automatic since the speaker does not prepare what he or she is going to say more than 3 seconds beforehand, and that the listener can interrupt the speaker at any time. Conversation between strangers, teachers and students, doctors and patients make use of the consultative style. Here are some of the examples. Regular classroom discussions, doctor-patient, and etc. So why is this levels of formality important? So it is important in speech making because it will help you choose the appropriate speech for a specific event. Speaking the correct speech prevents misunderstandings and conflicts. So that's all for today's video and thank you. So that's all for today's video. Thank you and God bless. So that's all for today's video. I hope you so that's so that so that's all for today's video and I hope you learned something. So that's all for today's video and I hope you learned something. Thank you and God bless.